Welcome back, everyone. The More Watts podcast.
More Watts.
More Watts. I'm Chris, aka Tron Rides on IG. TRONRIDES.
What's up, y'all? I'm Chad Bennett. You can find me on IG, Chad Bennett. That's where I'm at today.
With two E's in the bin.
E's,
Two E's in the bin.
Yeah.
What's good, Isaac? Just follow the Black Watch Cycling on IG. That page is
There you go.
crazy, son. We got all type of content and videos and posts and things for you. This More Watch. This season 2, man. Glad to be back again. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Our social is lit, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes.
always.
Continue to keep them lit. Like we
Always.
need all the social love. We need the engagement. We're trying to do a lot for the community, and your level of engagement helps us do that.
Yeah,
A lot.
sure.
Absolutely.
So today, fellas, I wanted to talk about us feeling at home in our bodies. Right?
You was digging in the crates with this little
Yeah,
topic
I
right here,
was.
son.
Like I went away this summer. You know, we were traveling this summer, going to different events. And you know, when you travel, you have conversations, you meet new people,
Yep.
and you know who we are, right? Like we like to have in-depth, engaging conversation, go beyond just surface level talk, you know. And I had the good fortune of having conversations with both men and women about this topic. And it wasn't something that I sought to talk to them about, because we've all talked about our own journeys and just people that we know, their journeys with
Yeah.
feeling at home in their body and body image and that sort of thing. It's particularly in cycling, right? Because cycling is thought to be like the small person sport, you know?
Yes.
But it was interesting to me because there were a number of conversations that just started off without me prompting. They just kept coming up back to back to back. And that, to me, that meant that there's something there that's under the surface that, you know, I think we should share light on in the way that only we can. You know, like we talk to the people plainly. We try to educate ourselves about topics and things like that. And when necessary, we try to get experts. But on this one, I just wanted us to share
Yeah, it's personal.
our experiences and you know, our thoughts. Please make sure you jump in the comment section. You know, DM us in the comments on IG. Please interact with us, engage with us. We really want to shine some light on this. So,
And we also include our own personal experiences.
yes,
of course,
absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. So, you know, I want to start us off with like self-love.
Mm.
What do you guys think about self-love?
Self-love.
Because that's heavy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I told you, man. You in the crates, like.
yeah,
with the
man,
records.
I'm going to get the
All
good
right.
vinyl.
Can we, all right, when you talk about self-love, dig a little deeper for me on
Yeah,
that.
so when I say self-love, I mean it in the capital S sense, meaning like just everything that's around it. But then I also mean it in the little s sense, like specifically like your body. Like loving big S, who you are and where you fit in the world and what your journey has been in this lifetime. And little s from the standpoint of when I look in the mirror, do I like the person that I see? And that's tough, right? Because we're talking about like physically, do I like my nose? Do I like my lips? Do I like my cheekbones, my ears, my skin texture, my hair texture, right? My belly, you know what I'm saying? Like my chest, my arms, right? Like, do we love ourselves?
I think from a high level, like I think that's an ongoing war, if not anything. Like that's a battle with yourself, because it's not a static situation. So if you do, like, all right, we obviously the health component in cycling is a big deal, even if we don't talk about it a lot. Like like you staying healthy and active and all that at whatever age you're at, that's a big deal. But whether you're physically fit or you're on that journey, like, and cycling is getting you there, you're just constantly changing. Weight up and down, you know what I mean? How you feel up and down. Sometimes I get up, I feel like a monster, like I'm trying to get outside and really get after it. Sometimes not so much. So the high level view, like you talked, the big ass, like just everything that's surrounding it, that journey of loving who you are at that moment right now, that's tough. That's a battle that's gonna change on a daily basis. And I mean that gets hard. I know for me it is. That's a difficult task, but like when you were just talking about the story, like people giving you conversation and like when you were in Atlanta or whatever, like what were they telling you? What were they giving back to you?
Yeah, so, you know, there was one individual who we were having a conversation about something completely different. Someone rolled up to the individual and made a comment about their body. Like, oh, you ride a lot. Like, I'm surprised, you look this way. And the person was taken aback. I was taken aback.
Were they friends? Like, is it a joke type of thing?
That's the thing. But like, I don't know. But the way it was said, I mean,
Yo, that is wild.
it's just wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just wild, right? And then the individual was just like, what's crazy, Chris, is I ride more than this person. I've been doing this for 10, 12 years. They just started in COVID. I will outride them anytime. But in this moment, I'm being judged by what I look like.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things, I'm being fully judged about what my capabilities are and by what I look like. And to me, the individual didn't say this, but I'm thinking that's a direct microaggression. Like, as people of color, we experience that in a different way. Maybe it's not about body, but whether it's checking our proverbial resumes in terms of our level of education, which is a check on our knowledge base, right? So, that, I'm not gonna lie, man, that turned me around. Because I was like, did that person just fucking say that? And why did they feel comfortable enough to say that? Like, why was that okay?
In a public setting at that, like around other people to hear it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that individual had a high self-love level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. The person absolutely does. But I've made that mistake. I mean, I'm going to come clean. Like, I have some really good friends, and both men and women that I've had a good opportunity to meet over my lifetime. And I thought a young lady was pregnant.
Oh, no, you ain't.
Yeah, man.
You did that. You went, oh, congratulations.
Bro, not only congratulations,
Chris.
but like.
When do you do? Like, you went all the way in?
All the way in.
Can I?
Yeah, oh, yeah. All the way in.
Wow, disrespectful.
And the response was, I'm not pregnant. Ooh. Bro, I was apologizing for months.
Yeah, as you should.
Absolutely.
There are just certain things you just avoid unless it is brought up.
I was devastated, right? Like, I was disappointed in myself because I know better, right? I was disappointed in myself because I started thinking about, like, damn, like, what does that do to her self-esteem?
Right.
It wasn't malicious, but I see.
No, and this is
right.
somebody that I call a friend.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just a passerby. Like, what did I just do to her self-esteem? What did I do to her, her image of herself? Now, she's a strong person. She told me, whatever, it don't bother me or whatever. But I still felt like I fucked up. Like, you know what I mean?
You did.
You did. You did, bro.
There's no getting around that. You did.
And that's just one instance of a time that I had done something like that. But even like, I've had my own struggles, like aging, right? I'm 47 now. I'm Obama +3. I'm very proud of that, my Obama +3. And my body doesn't respond to physical stimulus and dietary changes like it used to even just 5 years ago. Right? Like, so, now we talk about mom bods and dad bods and all that sort of stuff. I still don't really know what that means, but I get the idea around it. But it's crazy because I have conversations with my daughters, like they have an affirmation that they say every morning. They look in the mirror and they say this affirmation about their hair and their facial features and their minds, right? And I'm so keen into that's another reason why I was just like, bro, I just dropped a nuclear. I just did Hiroshima with this woman right now. And I really know better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, self-love is it starts internally first. I don't know if it has so much to do with the exterior.
You're right.
For me, someone who's fluctuated weight a lot, like I used to be 120 pounds soaking wet all through college. And then, felt like I was at a decent weight after school and bulked up. I was, my muscle man thing.
In the gym.
In the gym.
Strong man Chad.
Lift heavy, that's how it's going.
Yeah. And then became a parent, and things change for you as you become a parent and as you age. And so I think for me personally, it's a journey. It's a journey, whether I was on my journey to put on muscle. It was a journey to put on the weight. And it was a journey once I had my daughter to lose the weight. It's always been a journey that I've kind of accepted. And it's been a personal challenge, like when I was putting on the weight, no one said, damn, Chad, you looking pretty solid. But as I started to cycle and I started to drop a tremendous amount of weight,
here it come.
It was like, damn, Chad. And it was like, wait, am I sick? What's going on?
Yeah. Now you think it differently.
Right.
It's like, wait, you're making me feel like something wrong with me that I'm losing weight. So it's like you can never win with people. Like people will always make comments. I feel like some people have the best intentions when they make these comments in most cases, but you just kind of maybe you just gotta accept it and move on. Like cycling is a very ego-driven sport, and so someone's always looking to one-up you.
Very competitive
in every aspect too.
In every aspect of it, whether it's the performance or the aesthetic or the bike. It's like there's always someone looking to one-up you in some facet of cycling. And once you understand that, just kind of say, you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Yeah. Listen, when I decide to get 500 watts for 50 minutes, then
I'll do it.
I'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's sort of where I'm at with it. One of the things that I learned very early on in cycling is like ride your own ride. And I feel like that applies to this whole thing. It's a journey. Be on your own journey. Be on your own ride. And don't look at the person cycling to the left and to the right of you. Focus on your journey as a cyclist, which encompasses your diet, encompasses your weight loss or weight gain journey. Because there are people who are really small who want to get bigger. Yes. It's not just a weight loss or a quote unquote fat thing. There are people who are uncomfortable being small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
I definitely was.
That's where I'm at with it. Like I went from an XL in Rafa to a large and medium in Rafa, and I'm kind of cool where I'm at. Like obviously I want to make some body improvements, but it's just a journey I'm on. I'll get there as long as I put in the work. It's kind of to, the famous quote that we have for us is to keep pedaling.
Right.
That keep pedaling just isn't something we say on the bike. It's sort of like a movement to never stop, like to always keep moving. And if you continue to keep moving, you're going to start to see those changes physically and emotionally.
Yeah. And it's the term is self-love, yet a lot of us, I'm guessing or I'm estimating, but a lot of us judge ourselves based on what's out there. At some point in time, maybe even if it's not like that's what you holistically do, but sometimes you judge out that way. But the term implies it's just about you, bro. Like whatever you see as the flag on the top of that hill, like you gotta go get it. That's it. Nobody else is gonna, can sway that or determine what that's supposed to be. It happens, but the lesson is like just go after that yourself. Like whether that's gonna be like you talk about like body weight or we talking exterior again, but if it's some goal you have with cycling or what have you, that's your goal. Like, oh, son did like 5,000 feet of elevation this weekend. If you want to be competitive, that's on you. But otherwise, man, it's just whatever goal you set. It's you versus you every single day. That's it.
Ride your ride.
That's it.
Because it's you guys didn't explicitly state this, but it's about self-acceptance too, right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
And a lot we talk about the external because the images of women in the media, the images of men in sports, the images of black men, right? Like the stereotype of black men. And whenever we're doing an athletic endeavor, how we should perform and what we should look like. Even in cycling, right? Like a lot of the brothers and people in the BIPOC community, if they transition from soccer or they transition from football, which tend to be of a bulkier, strength-based sport. When they come into cycling, they put on nylon, right? They look huge in comparison to possibly someone who did not.
Yo, because Ray Lewis still looked like Ray Lewis.
Yes, he just has on nylon. Shout out to Ray Lewis
and Reggie Miller,
and Reggie.
Ray Allen. They all, yeah.
So like that, the level of acceptance of loving yourself and the person you are inside of the skin you're in is important, and not like marginalizing yourself, right? Like not having this marginalization of I am not blah 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 because I look this way. Because Chad, you said we should ride your own ride.
Yeah.
Right? And conversely, you should live your own life.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like we all girl dads, right? So this is something that we're keen on. Like what if your daughter doesn't look like what the images that they see on social all the time, because it's a part of their lives. Right. And right now the wave on social, which has been for the last, at least 7 years or so, has been the, BBL, what I'm saying? Mommy makeover, like all of these images which don't reflect what actual women look like. And now we were talking about this just a week or so ago about men who are getting their legs literally broken to be taller.
Shout out to my guy Femur Bone. Yo, that's
that's crazy.
That's the wildest situation ever. I mean, I get it, but like there's a procedure that you could either take I don't know if it's removal of the femur bone or breaking it and elongating it so that now you're taller as an individual, couple inches, whatever the case may be.
Like what are you looking to accomplish by being taller than what you are? It ain't gonna help you get no girls.
But this person,
and it's not gonna help you perform better. But you want to finally dunk? Lower the rim if it's that serious for you.
And I think it was a Korean guy. He believed that taller people get more opportunity in life in general. So it wasn't necessarily that he wants to get more women. He felt like overall this will improve his quality of life because it would extend to more professional opportunities, more dating opportunities, right? Like, so he thought it would impact his life as a whole. And I wouldn't say that's too far from some of the other things that people do outside if there's a medical necessity for like a mastectomy or something like that, right?
It's just too risky because you go through this whole procedure. You can't walk for 4 or 5 months, whatever the timeline is, and you still in the same spot you were in before you got the surgery. How do you know it's just not you as a person that just needs to become a better person and evolve or change some of your requirements when you're looking for dating, or you need to work a little bit harder? I'm just not saying those are the things, but like there's just way too many variables for you to just pinpoint and say height is what's holding me back.
You out here with
not your shitty ass resume, not the fact you don't know how to talk to people or treat people. It's your height.
Femur bone, long as shit. All this shit just regular. He got a regular size.
You a size 32, 36 in length.
It's crazy. By the way, that probably ended up being crazy, that whole situation. His son really elongated himself by like 3 to 4 inches. That's a lot.
I wish him well, man.
That's a lot.
I hope through that process he realizes it was his height and not his personality.
Right, but you're talking about the underbelly of that, or the backside of that, which is probably huge, just like that, the iceberg below the ocean, is how do you value yourself, right?
Right. For me, like I think about, once I go gray, there is no, Right.
And what do the people shout out to my Philly folks that be adding that? What's that dark shoe shine that be putting in their hair? It's not shoe shine.
My uncle told me yesterday. He was like, "Man, I grabbed the wrong Oriental black." Man.
Oh, the Beijing,
the Beijing.
He was like, "It started the drip," and I'm like, "Yo, once I get the salt and pepper, that is where I'm at with it."
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not changing nothing God gave me, man. Happy to be here.
I mean, but in cycling though,
right?
But in cycling, right? Like, think about, like we talked about this, like we really want people to come into the sport just in general, to get on their bikes and ride more, to have some affinity that we have for the sport. We started wearing T-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like we started wearing t-shirts, you know, we started wearing cargo bibs, anything that we can do so it could not look like we were racing, right? Like the typical, you know, tight jersey or race fit jersey, you know, bibs that look a certain way, but more so it's like, yo, just come as you are. If you got flat pedals, you got on a t-shirt. I mean, we believe that you would really benefit from a chamois, but if you just want to come in your jean shorts,
how I feel about them chamois.
yes, but if you want to come in your jean shorts, it's all good. But that has everything to do with people's level of comfort and what their body looks like.
Also, to that point, right? So, I thought about this before. We would, over the last like year, especially with the podcast, because it's, you know, it's public facing, so we're talking to people. But even in person-to-person interaction, we're like, nah, you know what I mean? You can come out with us. We have beginnerized. Tell people all the time, you don't have to be a black father. Just women, everybody. We're saying that constantly. However, every time I see somebody like, y'all be going fast. So they're seeing that. So no matter what I say, no matter what we say, we telling y'all like, oh, it's super comfortable. We're really accepting of people who just started out. We just started out. You know what I mean? Like, come through. So we're telling you. But yeah, it's still based on whatever the visual may happen to be. Like, yeah, I'm not judging, but I'm gonna put y'all in this category. Y'all do it like this. Like, nah, man, it's different. So people, that's just what we do. I'm assuming as human beings, like, I'm giving you exactly where I want us to be, like who we want to interact with, engage with. Yet you still have this idea in your head. It's just this one way. And we do this with everything. Like, a person could tell you, like, yeah, I'm this way, or I'm like Shorty, like, or whoever you was talking about, like, yeah, the person is built this way, but they look at him like, oh yeah, you out here cycling, you should have been skinny by now. What's good? Like, what?
Yes.
Yo, man, that's out of control. But I don't know. I think that's just who we are. It does speak to self-love, because now you got to think about the self-love of the person who said that. Where are they at with it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to your point about how people felt about like coming on our rides, it was the perception.
You
know, it's truly perception. And something I heard throughout early on in my career was perception is reality.
Yeah,
I've always hated that, because perception is we ride fast because we look fast. We have nice bikes and our kits are aero and whatever race cut, so we look like we're going fast. But the reality is, you join one of our rides and we having a normal conversation and
having a great time. That's how we got into the sport, making friends, chopping it up, like
absolutely.
You know, and so I think you know, we have to continue to just like talking to people, man, like on a personal level, because there are clubs out there where the perception is a reality, where they are riding fast and they are dropping you and they are looking at how you look on the bike, and they're looking and saying, oh, he's not in shape, he's gonna be slow. You know, like those things do happen. And if you experience that, I don't think that's the right club for you to ride with personally.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not us.
No, right? But like that. So, for example, right, like being competitive in things that I've done athletically, you know, I have a standard for myself of things that I want to accomplish. And it's weird because it's never like me versus Ak or versus Chad. It's just like, all right, cool. Let me see if I can be the best that I can be at this. The difference with cycling is not like other kind of fast twitch ball sports, right? Like, you don't just do the equivalent of VO2 max intervals and then time out, right? It is truly an endurance sport. So it's like, wow, like, okay, I really have to accept that I have to change how I eat so that I can perform and enjoy myself more on the bike. So if I want to go for a 50 or 60 or 75 or, God forbid, 100-mile ride, right? Like, I know
that century.
I know what to eat, when to eat, and it's not about me starving myself, right? Because the only reason why I would starve myself is because I don't want to, quote unquote, put on weight. Because there's an idea that, you know, if you know, like in other sports that aren't endurance sports, like you can burn fat, but it's only for a short period of time. But if you're doing like a 60-mile ride and you're doing it at a pace of 13 miles an hour, do the math.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You see what I'm saying? It's going to take you 5 hours. There's no way around it.
Your metabolism just murking everything
Yeah.
in your body.
Everything in your body is being hurt.
Yep.
You know, like, so, you know, like, I think that, you know, like, for me, having that conversation, which led to other conversations throughout the summer, really made me think, like, wow, like there are a lot of people who are uncomfortable in their skin, and they need to be uplifted and supported. You know, now obviously they live their life, right? Like time doesn't stop. Like, you know, it's not like they sitting around with "woe is me" printed on their forehead, right? Like, that's not the case. But you can tell once you go into certain water that, oh, it's gonna be deep. My next step could be like there is no bottom, right? Because you don't know how far down the hole where they are in their journey in self-love and looking at themselves in a mirror. Whether naked or in their kit or in their clothes, and feeling like, yo, I love myself fully and completely.
Yeah, cycling is one of those sports that expose how vulnerable you are. You know, because like you think about the cycling kit, it's supposed to be worn close to your body. So you're almost damn near naked.
You basically are.
You are damn near naked. No other sport. Football, the jersey still somewhat can cover you up for the most part. Basketball the same. Baseball the same. Cycling is one of the only sports where it is so close to your body that like, yo, I gotta like be on this bike and basically I'm butt naked on this bike.
Word.
It's crazy, right?
Every little curve.
Right.
It takes so much, like, to just, you could just go to, you know what I mean, when you go to the court, throw some shorts on, sneakers, whatever you want to wear. You could, you know what I mean, find your little, like, the way you express yourself in your fashion and all that. But this, as soon as you start, you either in shorts, which is wrong, or you got to dive in immediately. And it's like, yeah, that shit is tough. But the spandex, the lycra, whatever we're wearing, like, yeah, you definitely have to give up some type of vulnerability just to even put it on and step outside.
You can't
like,
hide.
You can't hide.
You can't hide.
That's crazy.
You know, and so that's what I actually appreciate about this sport is you are vulnerable. I actually challenge my vulnerability in all facets of life. And so like, yo, if something is too tight and I gotta wear it that day, it is what it is. I've definitely been out there with a too tight bib and a too tight jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just is what it is. And once you become vulnerable with yourself, it just becomes a lot easier to accept who you are as a person in the journey that you're on.
Yeah.
It's the whole vulnerability piece that people aren't comfortable with, and that's where their egos get in the way.
That running towards that is actually, I found, and I've been forced to do it, but running towards being uncomfortable. Bro, ask me 2 years ago, 3-4 years ago, like, yeah, would you ever do a podcast? I'm like, I'm about to fight you, bro. That type of shit. It's just not me. It just wouldn't be who I am. But running towards being uncomfortable and putting yourself in a position where it's like, all right, this is not my thing. But as soon as you do, bow, you got over it. It's over with. You know what I mean? And outside with the cycling thing, every time there's a challenge, that's exactly what it turns out to be. Like, yo, I don't know about this. Like 70, 80 miles, just do it. This fast for this long, just do it. This much elevation on one route, like, yo, we're about to do 3,000 on one route. Like, just do it. Approach that. Now, we're giving cycling examples, but obviously we're talking about life right now. So
yeah,
it goes both ways.
I used to hate climbing. And now I just look at it as a challenge. You know, like, there are roads I'm like, oh shit, we doing this today? But now it's just like, yo, it is what it is. I'm gonna, as long as I keep pedaling, I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah. And I think, like, you know, like, marginalizing other people's experiences, you know, happens. So for example, right, like, I've been in situations recently where someone was proud of an accomplishment. I was, oh man, that first time I did da, 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 da. the first response to that was, "Oh, that ain't shit."
From you?
No, not from me, but from somebody else. Was like, "That ain't shit." I was like, "Wow." I was just like, "Wow," right? Because you know, and it makes me wonder, like, why isn't there more support and just uplifting of each other? Like, seriously, because the crazy thing about cycling is, okay, fine. If you want to go fast and you want to go be competitive, find your group that allows you to have that. And then if you are not like trying to be a racer and have a race-like environment, because I split the world in two halves. Either you're trying to be a racer, have a race-like environment as frequently as possible, or you're not. Yeah. Right? And the you're not doesn't mean that you don't want to become a better cyclist, which in turn sometimes means that you get faster, right? Or that occasionally you may want to dip your toe into let me do the A ride or whatever. Yeah, right? It doesn't mean that, but it's very different than someone who is just like all the time they're on A. Right. All the time they're on hit. Let's hit. If it ain't moving at 20 miles an hour, don't call me.
Those people scare me, by the way.
I mean, but it's their journey. It's what they want. What I don't like is when they begin to then judge others who choose not to have that journey.
Right.
I think it's, to Chaz's perception point, I just think it's, all right, so let's say we were with 5, 6, 7 people and we determined like, yeah, these people want to use cycling to get better as individuals, health reasons, whatever, even if it was athletic. That's different than we with these 5 individuals and they're competitive. And they're like, yeah, I see what you did, Chris. I'm after that. Now that's cool. But when you mix the two is when it becomes a problem. Now it's like this super ultra competitive person, and this individual is trying to get better, but they're doing it for various other reasons. Mm-hmm. Oh, that ain't shit. Like you only did 1,200 for today. That's nothing. Right. Like, nah, baby. That part of it kind of bothers me. Like, I don't like when people marginalize individuals' accomplishments in that way. Like, nah.
Yeah, using like Strava as a opportunity to put somebody down is just wild to me.
Like I seen you going through, looking at your checking your stats and all that.
Yeah,
people are funny, man.
It's like, come on, man. I'm out here trying to better myself, and you worrying about how much elevation I did. Yeah. It's crazy to me.
But I think women are more vocal when given the opportunity to speak about it. They're more vocal about how that plays into their enjoyment with the sport, right? Like, because think about it, like because we host a lot of beginner rides. Yeah. And, it ebbed and flowed. Now it's about 50-50. But at first,
as far as participation
between men and women. But before, what were we hearing, right? We were hearing like, oh, people are too fast, or it was, and I've heard, and through other channels that you guys are a part of, that women feel uncomfortable.
He got him. You didn't think he had him? He got him. He got other channels.
Yeah. You know what I
mean? You caught that. All right.
Yeah. Other channels that you guys are a part of, that women need to have space just for them to do their thing, which I'm okay with, right? Obviously, everybody needs to have their space to do their things. But by and large, it was said in no uncertain terms that women have a problem with riding with men more often than not because they feel like they're going to get dropped by the men. And I'm not talking about the people who want to go fast and race.
Just period.
I'm talking about like the general public who likes to ride, right? And what ends up happening is that testosterone kicks in, that level of competitiveness kicks in, and the women, at least, again, it's a very small sample size in comparison to all the women that exist, but I mean, I feel confident in making this statement because we're out there. We're on the ground.
Yeah.
We're hosting the rides. We've seen it go from having no women to now it's, if we have 30 people out there, we got 15, 17 women, sometimes 20 women on the ride.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like, so we've seen that. And that's that's not by accident, right? We were intentional about making sure that everybody can feel comfortable, right? In the space.
Right. Fast or slow. The competitive part, I can see that because we, channels that we are all a part of, we definitely came across that where it was like, listen, there's a women's activity that or event that's going on, and they wanted to keep that not closed off, but just, predominantly, or if not all women. And I understand that part.
That's so funny to me. I'm sorry.
Yo, speak on it, bro. That's what we doing.
So the women didn't want to join a collective ride because they felt like they would get dropped by the men, but they would go on an all women's ride so they could do the dropping. Is that what?
And during some of these channels that we're all a part of, yes. And then they were complaining about dropping the women.
It's the same. That was
It's
my
the
point.
same,
I'm trying to get to.
right.
The
It's exactly the same.
That is hilarious.
Because the environment is still not a supportive environment.
I'm telling you, if you are purely out for competition purposes, then that's the zone you got to find. If you mingle if you're amongst people who are just trying to enjoy themselves, it's enjoyable cycling, obviously, but like I'm just out here, like we're gonna stop and get a beer, or we're just gonna chop it up and talk. That's what my goal is. Then to mix that with the whole like competition, I'm a dust, I'm burning, I'm out here trying to burn you, I'm dropping you, all of that. I think that's a bad look.
Yeah, especially and my problem with that is, like, for example, right? Very early on in the season, we had an opportunity to lead a ride. It was a phenomenal turnout. There were probably like 50 people, men and women. It was probably equal, somewhere in there, maybe slightly more women. Bro, we did the ride. It was 30 miles or so. At the halfway point, they were trying to order breakfast.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wait, we don't.
That's not what we do.
This isn't nowhere in the description of this ride
At a restaurant.
where we're going to be ordering eggs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ride and brunch.
Eggs Benedict, like with the side of melon.
Yeah.
Like, I think eat a melon medley. So, and I felt, I will admit this. I said something and I was like, yo, you can't buy that. Right? I was like, this isn't that type of ride. And it was just my knee-jerk reaction. But then later, after talking to y'all, you were like, Chris, that was probably wild. But I was like, but...
Because you definitely didn't... The way you even said it right there probably isn't really what you said.
Right, that's not really what I said.
Chris already said it much faster. Can't buy that.
You can't buy that. And then I told one person, like, yo, you got to throw that food away.
And gave him a countdown.
Yes. I'm like, yo, we leaving in 5 minutes. You just bought your food.
With a real actual plate of food.
Actual plate, like a whole ass plate.
Can you imagine walking in the store telling another adult they can't buy something when they owe money? That just
we leaving you. Well, you can just leave then.
Yo, I had to regroup. Regroup everybody and say, this is a short stop for bathrooms, and maybe you get some extra water, or maybe a banana or something light, because we only have 15 minutes, 15 miles to go back.
I'm eating my French toast, man.
Bro, yeah. But like, yo.
But you know what? Now thinking about it, they probably really needed it.
Not the whole French toast plate. They didn't need the whole French toast plate, bro. Don't give me that. They needed some food.
Yes,
but they did not need the French toast.
That's an educational moment
yes.
right there. Be like, listen.
Yes, I pulled it back, and I listen.
They finished though, right?
They finished the ride.
So that's that. See, that's what I mean.
They finished the ride.
That's the accomplishment.
They took bites.
They got it.
I was like, listen, I'm gonna give y'all 5 minutes to take a few bites of this, because. And the logic, I pulled a small group of them aside who was, getting the whole breakfast plate meal and stuff. I was like, let me ask you a question. Do you really think that you can consume this much food and then ride immediately after you consume it? They were like, no. Like, we were going to wait at least an hour, hour and a half. I was like, right. But what about all the other people?
Wait an hour and a half?
Did their food digest?
Wild time.
So I was like, so what about all the other people? Okay, fine. There's 6 or 7 of you, but there are like 40 of us.
Should we leave it? Yeah.
Oh, you got to get left.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I was like, listen, in all seriousness, if you want to enjoy your meal, go right ahead. Do you have the route? That's how many of them had the route.
Furthermore, none of them.
Right.
Furthermore, this is our ride.
Yes. It was clearly articulated. You know how I be detailing the stuff.
Like, listen, if they wanted to stop for brunch, they could, like, hey y'all, at the midpoint, we're actually gonna stay. We'll catch up with y'all later. But to think that the 40 other people would just wait for them to enjoy French toast and melon is wild to me.
And that's that means that they're not thinking about anyone other than themselves.
Yeah, so it does go both ways. Even the speedy dudes just thinking about them,
Yes.
or people. Yeah, it's
Yes.
on both sides.
Right, it goes on both sides, and I felt really badly because one of how I said it, I probably should have said it completely differently in the moment. I did pull it back together, but I felt badly because I was legitimately sitting there like on the ride back, thinking to myself, the audacity.
Yeah.
Right, in the same way that I've been on rides when people like leaving people, right? They're like, out, we out of here, dropping them off, and I'm like, yo, but that wasn't this ride.
Right.
Why did you come out here if that's what you wanted to do?
Right. Some people enjoy getting dropped, man. If that's what
You mean
want
dropping people?
No, some people enjoy getting dropped.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, there's definitely an adage that, like, you know, you go on these fast rides, you get dropped off, you get better. Sooner or later, you won't be getting dropped anymore, and that's how you get better. You just keep trying. I know Eddie does routes like that all the time. Shout out Eddie. Like, he'll ride with groups that are faster than him, stronger than him, and over the course of time, even he was talking about that hilltop ride, he just gets better and better. So there's people that do that not necessarily enjoy getting dropped, but enjoy that, you know what I mean, like the competition part. But for you to be out here, like, again, if you recognize that someone is here just for the fun of it all, like they're not in a competitive mode, and you just turn the burners on and dust them, like that's a problem, man. Definitely, we should definitely be aware of that, and we should definitely be. I feel responsible. Like if Black Watch puts on a ride, some type of event, a ride, whatever it may be, we can't leave anybody, bro.
Unless you choose to do something outside of
ordering French toast.
Yeah, things of that nature.
Like,
but in regards to the ride itself, like I'm not. Yeah, like there's people on the ride. We can't leave anybody.
no, and we haven't. We actually haven't.
Yeah.
We've never completely flat out
yeah.
left anyone.
Not like, oh, we see them back there. No.
No.
Some people have.
But I have
lost.
had to say to people, you know, this is your turnaround point, given how you've been performing thus far and the pace that the group is moving. You did a phenomenal job by keeping up to this point. But I think if you turn around here, you won't go deeper into the water until you get to a point where you're really in pain. And now, because people forget like that they have energy to go out.
Yeah.
But they gotta come back.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still got more, but like right at the point where you would tell them, like, listen, and I like the way you did it because you gave them a choice. Like, listen, this is what's going to happen going forward. You can turn around right now. You good. You got the route. It's not far. You know where you're at.
Yes.
The money. And you, even though you feel okay right now, but by the time we get to the turnaround point, it's over for you. And like that's a good look to allow people to make that decision. They don't feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, they can make their own choice.
Yeah.
Now, in that particular instance, you understand that you're getting dropped, right? Because now, if there's a group of 15 people and their level of experience and fitness is just higher than yours, the pace that they're riding it with is just higher than yours, and you've done a great job up until this point, and the rest of the route has been explained with the level of elevation, the pace that we're going to keep, right? And if you're at the point where you're noticeably having trouble and you want to continue because, and I was told, I'm good, I just want to finish it.
that's
So
what's
then
up.
all right, cool. We're going to see you at the,
You got that map. You got that route.
got the
that
route.
map.
right. Right.
It's another ego thing, man. You know, we've had people that are part of our club come out for their first ride, and you know, they want to extend it. And you're like, you sure? They're like, yeah. And then you just see them hurt. Because they feel good in that moment, but yo, when you got to do an extra 10 miles,
10 miles out, 10 miles back. You throw 20 on it.
yeah, you know, like, yo, if you think about it, an extra 10 miles is
Far.
Yeah.
For someone who's not riding all the time?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 5 miles could seem like forever depending on how slow you're pedaling,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Or just how you ride, because again, that larger group that I described before, you have people that spectrum is so wide, right? Like, I ride my bike every day. like how people go for walks every day.
Right.
You know, it's on that vibe. Like I just get on, and I just pedal, and I just take my time, and you know.
Yeah, or that 5 miles could be 5 miles of climbing.
Word.
Depending on, especially when we were 11, depending on which way you go.
Yeah,
head
you know
back
what I'm
out west,
saying?
it's
So,
over with.
that 5 miles could really, put you on a curb.
Yeah.
Talking about
Literally.
the stretch.
Yes.
Yes.
Break dancing.
Break dancing in somebody's lawn. Somebody's lawn.
Yes, calling that Uber. It's real.
Yo,
It is
shout out to
very
AR,
real.
bro, for break dancing on top of the bridge.
So, listen, man. Ride your ride.
Ride your ride.
Keep pedaling.
Keep pedaling. You know, and this will lead me to our Coach Chris moment today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is about group riding, because we talk about this, and I think it's going to be a recurring topic, right? Because I think it's one of these topics that, like a bike fit, like you have to constantly be reminded of it, because as you ride and as you grow as a cyclist, your level of understanding increases with it, right? So like group riding, one, have you done it or not? That's number one. Irrespective of your fitness level, because you can be strong, but not know how to ride in a group, right? Or you've never had to lead the group, right? So understanding what your limitations are one. Number two, understand what type of rider you are and the group that you decided to join the ride with. And vocalizing that, right? Saying, hey, I saw this ride. I think I may be able to do it, but I'm not sure. Can you tell me more about it? What I should expect? This is what I've done thus far to date. Like, have that conversation if possible. And if not, you roll up, have that conversation.
Ask questions. You know how we say it. That's what we tell you.
Yeah,
Please
because
ask questions.
group riding isn't just riding with people, right? Like really good group rides, they pace line. Right, like that's a key component to cycling, right? They pace line, and if you've never pace line before, you're probably too far back, or you're too far forward where you're wheel overlapping, right? And you're causing danger, or you're doing things that you should not do, like expelling bodily fluids in the middle of the pace line.
Cycle snots, man. Yo, I can't. Don't do that, man. Please.
Right.
Please.
Holding out your hand isn't going to stop it, right? Like trying to warn people, it isn't going to stop it. No. So, group riding is an essential part, and it actually brings the cycling community together. It makes it something that's really unique and different. And I think only runners are close, where you can have a group that goes out and runs and they stay together for a certain distance or whatever. And you can actually draft in running, but the mechanical advantages of bikes, the draft effect is a little more significant there.
There's a lot, there's more variables in cycling, but I think the biggest piece with group rides is communication. Communicating, like, listen, we're going to stay at X number of speed. And we're going to, we're going to pace line when you get to the front, stay on for 10 seconds, get off. Yep. People don't understand how beneficial that is and how you conserve so much energy in a group ride if it's done right.
And it's a thing of beauty. I don't know why people don't really why they shy away from it. It just moves the entire group that much further and faster trying to get somewhere. It's just a beautiful movement, like the way it actually works out. You find yourself, once you do it, you'll be like, oh, this really is not easier, but as far as the energy, the output that I'm putting out by myself, I'm wilding.
Yes.
Like the amount, I'm bugging. But in this pace line, this situation that we're doing,
it's
just
an art.
so much more.
It is an art.
Shit,
like,
beautiful, man.
The people that kill me on these group rides are the ones that get to the front of a pace line and they hammer it.
Right. So the pace line, and what Chad is saying, the pace line is moving at a certain pace.
Yep.
Now the people on the top move off. That next person, click, right? You hear their gears drop one or two, and they pick up the pace. That's not what's supposed to happen.
Unless the goal is, at that point in the ride that you're gonna hammer it. But
even that should be communicated.
Right.
Yeah,
because the person that just came off
go.
has to get back on.
Yeah, because that happened to us on our last group ride.
The person who came off has to get back on. And it's better to pick up the pace when the group is all together, right, than it is to just unilaterally you decide like, oh, because of the draft effect, you're not feeling that wind hit you.
So you're like, oh yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
man.
when you get to the top, you turn
And
it
now
up.
when the wind hits you, you're like, oh.
Yeah,
It's
because
totally different up top.
if you're at the back of the line when the pace line started, then you've conserved God knows how much energy. So much energy. Now you get to the front, you want to put it all out, and then you do 10 seconds of it, and you fall all the way back.
Yeah.
You're not being fair to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Once again, you're being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
This is the wrong ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So when you get screamed on by someone for doing, way too much, then you get upset. It was like, you were being selfish, bro. Or
Yes.
sis, you know?
Yes. And something else with group rides is please come prepared with all your stuff. Like as if you're riding solo. Like have your inner tubes, have your nutrition, have your water.
Food
right? Like
important.
obviously if it's your first time, maybe you don't know. But if you're going to be doing it regularly, please have your equipment, because if someone gives you their equipment, what are they going to have?
Right. It's a journey too. You're not going to get it right like on first try. I mean, that's dope if you do, but that nutritional journey as you're cycling, I think it's something we're all still like,
Yeah.
trying to understand is like
that
how
changes a lot. Like that has changed constantly for us. But bring something, bro. Bring something, please.
Yeah.
And
Like,
bring something and be prepared to actually eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yo,
Right?
if you need to stop, then say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and try to pull out a goo or team kitchen or something as you're riding, you swerving.
Right.
That ain't the time.
Nope.
Hey, y'all, I need to eat.
Yes. Because by the way, that stop will be a minute or two.
And it's not just you. I
Right?
It's
promise
not,
you, you're not the only person thinking
Right.
about they trying to put something in their belly. And as soon as you say, yeah, me too, I mean, people will agree. Like, speak
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
Yes.
because if I see Chris eat or you don't really, he's a robot.
He's golden child. Golden child eating the leaves, getting the dew from the leaf.
Now I'm gonna keep it 100 with you on this gravel ride though. We just had a gravel ride that we hosted just this past weekend. I made sure I was like, I don't know what to expect. I got bars in the bag.
You did have 2 water bottles.
2 water bottles. You know what I mean?
My man is a
ran through.
1 water bottle dude.
Yeah.
You had 1 water bottle in Miami too, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, see?
50-mile ride with 1 water bottle. But he knew that we were going to take a stop, to his
Yeah,
credit.
It was good.
He did fill
and I
his
filled
bottle
back up too because I definitely needed to.
Yes.
Yeah, but us normal folk, we need 2 water
Consume both bottles.
Nah, but I mean, food, gear. One ride we went out to. I was so embarrassed. We went to what is it? Hilltop, High Top. What store was it? In Cranford.
Cranford,
that
Hilltop.
one?
Hilltop.
Yeah,
I forgot my shoes, bro. Like, I'm sad to admit I did something like that. So forgetting your gear, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, stay on top of that. Bring everything you need. Food, gear, all that. Don't forget helmets, shoes, socks, all that, please.
Yeah. Oh, and just remember to bring your nutrition. Like, so often, we go on group rides and people are like, oh, I didn't eat this morning.
Wild times.
But we're doing a 40-mile, 50-mile ride. Like, when are you going to eat? Oh, I'll eat at the halfway point. Okay. Let's see how that works out.
Like,
Let's
hurt
see how that
yourself.
works out.
You already in a deficit, bro.
Yes, you're already and this goes back, tying it back to our conversation earlier around body image and everything. So often the reason that people do that is because I'm going to burn fat. So I'm looking to come and use this ride as a way for me to be at a caloric deficit.
Do not want to be in
And
ketosis
that's
on
not
a ride.
what you. No, exactly.
What? Yo,
Yeah.
That is your fuel.
you are
Yeah.
damaging body parts, my
Yes.
guy. Like,
Yes.
you can't do that.
And you end up bonking,
Word.
right? And just feeling absolutely miserable.
It's a terrible feeling. I've been there.
Yo, I've been there. We talked about this. Like,
Uh,
that Philly experience changed my life, bro. It changed my life. Never again do I want to feel like that on my bike, man.
and Chad's looking at us like, yo, is he okay?
Bro, Dunzo.
Is that man all right?
Dunzo, bro.
It happens.
Never, ever want to feel that way again.
It happens.
Yo, I definitely thought both of y'all was hurt on that Philly ride.
We were hurt for different reasons. I was hurt because he was having mechanical issues.
My feelings was hurt.
Right. You know what I'm saying? He was having mechanical issues.
All in his body language.
Right.
I was like, oh man, I don't know if I should stay with this man or keep going.
He was making that Kevin Hart meme when they be like,
Yeah, my feelings was hurt, boy.
Meanwhile, I'm slumped over the bike, can't pedal. Shout out to Taisha, man. Taisha for riding with me back at 10 miles an hour for the next 20 miles.
I'm sorry, I had to leave you, bro.
Yeah, nah, bro. Yeah, no, we was good. Like we had the map. Yo, we were so far behind. There was a whole car accident that we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the car accident was getting cleaned up by the time we got there. We were like, yo, what happened? It was a car accident. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, so.
Properly fueled, please. Eat up.
Yeah, real quick. Miami, I didn't think I did well in Miami from a fueling perspective.
Talk about it.
Because my biggest challenge is waking up that early and eating enough food.
Yo, what time was it, bro?
To
He was
fuel.
getting up at like 5:30.
To fuel for that ride. And I didn't think that ride was going to be what it was going to be. So by the time we got to the midpoint, it was like, all right, y'all, ready to go. And I was like, oh, shit. So I probably hung in for probably like the first 5-10 miles. And after that, it was like.
Have it. You didn't have it.
I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fast 50, by the way.
Super fast 50.
It was fast
at that
50.
point in time, that probably was our fastest 50.
Yeah, it was a fast 50.
Yeah, at that point in time.
Fastest flat 50.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
to that point, waking up, now this is just me, but waking up at 5 a.m. and then at that point in time, eating enough to be ready for 50 miles, I didn't do it correctly. I know I didn't, but
Yeah, there was
on a daily basis, like I forgot we woke up that early, bro. We
Yeah,
had a
it
whole
was-
ass meal and all.
Because, you know, we had food already prepared for us,
Yeah.
ready to go.
shout out Chef Don.
Shout out to Chef
killing
Don.
it,
Chef
buddy.
John killed it for us. But that helped actually inform when I went to One Love this year. I felt like that was the first time I got my nutrition pre and on the bike and post bike right. So I was disappointed because the hotel we were staying in, you know, I don't eat waffles before I go ride my bike. Right? Like, so the buffet is like waffles and like Fruit Loops. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Waffles, sausage, eggs, and Fruit Loop and breakfast potatoes. Like, I don't eat any of those things before I ride my bike.
It's kind of heavy.
Right. So
Yeah.
I ended up just going to doing the Team Kitchen. By the way, Team Kitchen is not a sponsor of this podcast,
It should be,
but we
man.
love their product. Team Kitchen. If somebody out there knows anybody from Team Kitchen, please DM us on IG. Let us know so we can reach out, so we can definitely make that contact. But basically what it is like oatmeal in a pack, and it tastes like
It's
applesauce.
apple pie in a pack.
Yeah, apple pie. Yes, it is so good. So I ended up having 2 Team Kitchens before I started riding. Obviously drank water, and then I would bring 4 more with me.
Yeah.
So then after that first 40 minutes, I'll take another one. Then I was on a 40-minute cycle, and I ended up being great like that.
Chris, what you hold those Team Kitchens in?
I had a bar bag.
You had a bar bag on a fast 50
I had
days.
a bar bag.
Speedballing.
Speedballing. Fastest I've ever ridden my bike, bro.
Bar bag on.
24 miles an hour for like 50 miles.
Getting busy.
And I had a bar bag.
That's
But
bad.
and that was on the last day. So we had done Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then on Sunday when we did that ride. I was thoroughly shout out to Kate, you know, for
Yeah.
helping prepare me for that. But also, you know, like shout out to Taisha for riding back with me and Chad for leaving me, because it made me make sure that, you know what I mean? Like everything was as best I could possibly do. And my mentality was totally, when I don't have it, that's it. I got the map. It's just a straight down and back. I'll just ride back by myself.
Yeah. Eat,
You know?
get your proper nutrition on,
Get
man.
your nutrition in.
Love
Yeah.
yourself. Self-love and all that.
Yeah.
Self-love. So, I mean, we're probably closing out now, but self-love and loving the skin that you're in and just who you are in this time in your life and your journey. You may not be exactly where you want to be, right? I mean, are we where we want
Nah,
to be?
it's not possible.
It's impossible. That's not what life is, right?
No.
Like, so, love the skin you're in, you know, really fall in love with yourself. And it's easier said than done. It takes intentionality. It takes gratitude. It takes, even in some instances, like having people pour into you sometimes to remind you of how beautiful you are.
Inside and out.
Inside and out.
Or Go towards whatever you're scared of, man. Go towards that. I told you, man. It's a remedy, boy. Yeah, I don't know.
And if you can't go towards yourself, I'm pretty sure there's someone in your friend group that can hold your hand and walk with you as you go towards it.
Yeah. Practice being vulnerable with somebody you trust.
Get you some good guys like this here, man. You know what I mean? Get you some
Word.
good fellas, yo.
No, for real. Like, it matters.
Yeah, word up.
It matters. Yo, good episode, guys.
This was real deep.
It was. I mean, we have range. We have range.
Chris
we got
pulled that
jokes
one.
and we can go deep.
We pull that topic out.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes.
season 2, you know what I mean? Stay tuned. We got more, obviously.
Follow us, Blackwash Cycling on IG. Go to our website. Purchase the merch. Purchase the merch.
Blackwash.cc.
Blackwash.cc. /shop.
On the shop side.
Yeah. And last thing, get out them shitty chamois.
Yo, upgrade your bib shorts. Yo, we out.
Peace.